Okay, so stick with Kurt Cobain here. Like I said, he died February 20th, which is the only day that actually adds up to the same as its date. So February 20th adds up to 220. It's all 20. And there's a huge Valentine's love theme going on with him. So he died in 1994, so the mirror of 49. April 5th, which is 40 or 5, 45th day of the year is Valentine's. 94 is also Valentine's, or 49 is also Valentine's. Let's see here. Oh, they didn't find his body until April 8th. So right here, April 8th, he was found dead. So that is 4/8, also the 98th day of the year. And 98 is 49 plus 49. And remember, he died in the mirror of 49. So anyway, his whole death was basically they pretty much predetermined that he was going to kill himself. That's what they want you to think, at least. So they stopped they were in Germany, and he was diagnosed with laryngitis and bronchitis, and then he ended up going to the hospital on March 3rd, 3/3/94. He had a combination of champagne and roofies or whatever, and he was rushed to the hospital, and he was there for 5 days. And then Courtney Love stated that it was Cobain's first suicide attempt. And then on March 18th, which is 69, 79, the 77th day of the year in 1994, they got in a fight or whatever, and Courtney Love called the cops and said that Kurt locked himself in a room with a gun and was going to kill himself, or in a bottle of pills. And Kurt said he wasn't trying to kill himself, and he had locked in the room to hide from Courtney Love. And then when questioned by the police, Love said that Cobain had never mentioned that he was suicidal and that she had not seen him with a gun. So kind of weird so there's 2 times now that he supposedly was going to commit suicide. And then Love arranged for an intervention regarding Cobain's drug use on March 25th, and it was in California. And let's see here. So basically then he finally agrees to go to this intervention, and he goes there, and then he decides to just leave or whatever. He jumps the wall while outside having a cigarette. He leaves, gets on a plane back to Seattle, but on the flight, he sat next to Duff McKagan of Guns N' Roses. Valentines. So Guns N' Roses, Valentines. And it even says on the plane, despite Cobain's personal animosity towards Guns N' Roses, specifically Axl Rose, so they want you to know about Rose, Cobain seemed happy to see McKagan. McKagan later stated, he knew from all my instincts that something was wrong. Most of his close friends were unaware of his whereabouts on April 2nd and 3rd, 94. Cobain was spotted in numerous locations around Seattle. So Courtney Love contacted a private investigator, Tom Grant, to help find Cobain. Well, private investigator, P.I., right? We've talked about that before. Private investigator is a P.I., which is pi. 227. 227 is February 27th. 227 is also the 49th prime number. February 27th is Valentine's Day on the Julian calendar. 22 divided by 7 is 3.14. So, I mean, it's just kind of crazy. She hired a private investigator, a pi, to find him. And then he was not seen on 4/4. And then, amid rumors, Nirvana breaking up, the band pulled out of Lollapalooza. And some people say that that's why Courtney wanted to kill him, because he lost $9.5 million, so 95, because he didn't play. He was going to drop out of Lollapalooza. All right, so let's backtrack just a tiny bit here. Tom Grant, this guy has a big ol' a whole website on the conspiracy of Kurt Cobain's death or whatever, because he really thinks that he was murdered. Um, anyway, Kurt Cobain, at one of these days, I'm not even going to look into it that much, but he went with Dylan Carlson, one of his closest friends, and this guy was who he got the gun from that he killed himself with, supposedly. But this guy said that Kurt only wanted the gun because after the whole thing in Europe, when he overdosed supposedly on Rufinol and whatnot, he was kind of scared for his life, and he wanted a gun for protection, or protection at his home, or whatever. And this guy also said that if he knew that Kurt was suicidal, he wouldn't have, went with him or whatever, got him a gun. So that's kind of interesting. But anyway, let's get back on this whole love kick and this Valentine's thing. So, yeah, the Guns N' Roses he sat next to on the plane when he left California. His wife is Courtney Love. Now, what are the odds of that? He dies on 4/5, which is Valentine's. In 94, the Mirror of 49. All kinds of stuff here. I talked about it. But his wife is Courtney Love. And Love is 54. But let's look at Courtney Love. And her first name, or her real name, is Courtney Michelle Love. Or Courtney Michelle Harrison. And then she changed her last name to Love. And I looked up why she did that, and all I could find was that originally her first name was actually Love. It was Love Courtney Harrison, or I don't know what it was. I can't remember what it said. Her first name was Love, though, and then her mom legally changed it when she was like 2 years old. So it was Courtney Michelle Harrison instead. But not only is Courtney Love, just the word love in general with Valentine's, of course she was born and is from San Francisco. Are you kidding me? So she was born in San Francisco to psychotherapist Linda Carroll and Hank Harrison, HH, 88, a publisher who briefly managed the Grateful Dead. So let's click on her mom here. So her mom was born in 1944, and she received national attention in 93 when one of her patients, the fugitive Catherine Ann Power, turned herself into authorities after spending 23 years eluding police. Catherine Ann Power, born in 1949. That's kind of odd. Anyway, this lady was born in San Francisco as well, and she is the mother of singer and musician Courtney Love and the daughter of novelist Paula Fox Lupercalia. Fox, I had talked about the Mr. Fox movie. It all has to do with the number 12, and 12 is actually 2. But let's check out Paula Fox. Born on April 22nd, which is 4/22, which could be 88. Also, if you add up April 22nd, it actually adds up to 2/23 or 3/22 backwards, skull and bone stuff. It's the 112th day of the year, which is 11/2/22, and she was born in 1923. So then it also says in 1944 she's living in a household with Stella Adler and Marlon Brando actually live, and there's rumors that neither one of them ever announced that Marlon Brando was actually the father of Courtney Love's mom. So Marlon Brando would be Courtney Love's grandpa, but it's not confirmed. Anyway, so Courtney Love's mom was actually married to one of the guys from, not the guys, but the, whatever I said from the Grateful Dead, the manager or whatever. But the Grateful Dead was founded in San Francisco Bay Area. The Grateful Dead even had a drummer named Mickey Hart. And he was born on September 11th. I mean, that's pretty weird. I also forgot to mention, so we did Courtney Love's mom and Courtney Love's grandma, but Courtney Love's great-grandma was Elsie Fox, and she was an American minor scream 30s, and she died on November 5th, 1993. So 11/5, all about time travel, whatever. The Grateful Dead also had one of their members, their founding members, died at age 27, just like Kurt Cobain. 27 on March 8th, 1973. Significant days, talked about him, whatever. Also, he was born in 1945. And I mean, there's a list of all the people who died when they were 27, like the famous artists or whatever. But one of them just comes to mind is Janis Joplin. And she died on October 4th, the huge 88 day. It is also will be 45 years ago. And Janis Joplin's first public performance was with Big Brother and the Holding Company at the Avalon Ballroom in San Francisco. That was kind of weird. I mean, who knows? There's tons of people from San Francisco, but weird that the first person I think of in the 27 Club besides her, Jimi Hendrix, and Kurt Cobain is her or whatever. So anyway, so the first place she ever played was the Avalon. Built in 1911, so they put a 9/11 in there, and then opens 1966 when she played. So that would have been 49 years ago, depending on whatever the actual day was. Anyway, let's get back to actual Kurt Cobain again here then. So when he went to the rehab center, he went to Exodus Recovery Center. Exodus adds up to 88. Recovery adds up to 111. Both significant numbers, talked about them multiple times. Recovery Center. Exodus Recovery Center adds up to 264, which is 88 times 3. I mean, what are the odds of that? And then he was found and he died in the greenhouse. And green is 49. What are the odds he dies in the greenhouse? I mean, he could have died anywhere in the house, but it was the greenhouse. It was a shotgun. He shot himself in the head. Shotgun is 104. October 4th. I mean, all 88 significance. The gun was a Remington Model 11, which adds up to 227, which is Valentine's Day on the Julian calendar. Pi talked about that a little bit ago. I mean, what are the odds of all that? So then I just wanted the gematria of the I guess. You got Cobain, which adds up to 114, 11/4, November 4th, or 4. Kurt Cobain spelled with a D, and that actually adds up to 118, 11/8, 88. Courtney have one child together, Frances Bean, which adds up to 88. Frances Bean also is 22 years old this year, and there was just an article about her not listening to her dad's music, and like I said, the documentary that's coming out, they're really up this Kurt Cobain thing again for whatever the reason. But this article, if my computer's freezing like crazy, talks about how she doesn't actually listen to Kurt Cobain's music or whatever. Okay, well, you at least read the headline. I can't scroll down, my computer will freeze up for some reason. But the article was on 4/9, even funnier. Then you have Courtney Love, which adds up to 165. Nothing significant about that, but her real name is Courtney Harrison, which is 223, 322 backwards. Or actually, according to the one thing I read, her real name is Love Michelle Harrison, and that also adds up to 223. I think if you just do Love Harrison, actually, I know if you just do Love Harrison, it adds up to 156, and that's 78 and 78, and that's 37 years ago, whatever. Lollapalooza also adds up to 112.22.